TPS reports. What's up, guys? We got just enough Justin Clark, top shelf Joshua Padrone, and the cursed Pat Dixon. Josh, Pat, what's up, guys? How y'all doing?
How's it going, Justin?
Good, man. Good. Pat, how you doing, buddy?
First day is all hell. How are you?
Well, Pat, you should be the most rested. You got home the earliest out of all three of us on Saturday night after the tournament. So congrats on being the first one home out of the three.
Yeah, I had to force that. And then I woke up 4 hours later, the kids jumping in my face, peeling my eyeballs back, going, Daddy, what we eating for breakfast, Daddy?
Brutal.
Pancakes.
Ooh, yeah, pancakes are always good. I agree. You should make pancakes on Sundays, Pat. I'll come over for breakfast.
I actually do. Usually I make pancakes, like Bisquick pancakes with some eggs and some sausage and some grits. Yeah.
Dude, what a good dad. What a good dad. On a different note, we had an awesome 10-ball tournament. Second 10-ball tournament of the year at Smoke and Q. We're back at Smoke and Q, first time in almost 2 months. They just celebrated their 31st anniversary. So they've been open 31 years now. Obviously, last year we had the big 30-year anniversary tournament, but this year we did not. We just had a regular tournament, about the same time of the year. The tournament was sponsored by Deadstroke Media, Inkwell Design, Portico Licensed General Contractors, Pool Doctors, TKO Custom Cues, Supreme Cues, Paul Harrison Custom Cues, Roundabout Grill, Fast Action Billiards, and Barry McDonald at Ameris Bank Mortgage Broker. Thank you all for being the sponsor of the tournament. We really appreciate it. It was a fun tournament. Had a full field of 32 players, paid out $4,380. All three of us actually got to play this time. Josh, this was your second trip driving down to Smoke and Q this year. Did you have just as much fun as you did last time?
Yeah, I love playing at Smoking Q. I wish it was closer to the house.
Yeah, it's a great pool hall, man. I mean, I'm like I said, I'm always a little biased, but it's probably my favorite pool hall in the state of North Carolina. I just like the atmosphere. I like the layout. I like how the tables play. I like a lot of things about it. And obviously it brings out all the good players as well. So it seems like they all want to play there. Pat, what was your thoughts leading into the tournament, buddy?
Oh, so going to the smoking queue, so always going to be a good day. I think I said it like 8 times as we were there. Always fun at the queue. And it kind of went the way, it actually didn't go the way that I thought. I think we had
Oh,
a
no,
lot of
not at
big
all.
upsets, which was really nice to see. Not that I ever want anybody to lose, but it's fun to shake things up.
Yes. Yes. I think this was a great tournament the way that it worked out, which we'll kind of dive into here in a second. Josh, you were obviously a few minutes late. You got there a little after 12. Does that kind of play a little bit into your mindset going into the tournament? Like, does that change things up?
Um, I mean, maybe a little bit on my mind. I don't think it did really on my play. I wanted to go show up there and practice the break a little bit more and just get used to the tables, just in case I drew like Mike or BD or something like that in the first round, but I didn't. So I had enough time to get used to the conditions and whatnot. But I wish I would have not gotten there at 12:40 because of accidents and on the
Yeah.
road.
Yeah, it was a crazy day for travel. We had about 6 people call and say that they were kind of stuck in traffic because of some kind of wreck or something. I think it was a good tournament we had. If you look at the bracket, I feel like maybe the top four players were on one half of the bracket. Maybe I don't know if you want to call them the top four, but you had Mike Davis, BJ Ussery, Renal Bott, Josh Heater, all basically on the same side of the bracket. Really kind of opened things up on the bottom side. Pat, I mean, just looking at that, and we started off with a great match between Mike and Renal. Like, did that just kind of set the tone for the day?
Oh, 100%. That's a hot seat match that you're starting off with on the first round for sure. You know,
Yeah.
to be a finals depending on how things shake up throughout the rest of the day, which we did not see between those two. Uh, Ronaldo got bumped out super, super early. But for me, upset of the day for sure. The fact that he got kicked out as early as he did, that's definitely like the number one thing for me outside of Mike losing or not winning another one that happened in that tournament. But to your point, it definitely opened up the other half of the bracket, even coming from the loser side for somebody, for some other players to kind of jump into the money and make some noise.
I'm not even sure if Ronaldo losing that early is that big of an upset because he lost to two really good players. He loses to BJ Ussery, who obviously is on paper the best player in the tournament, and then he loses to Tim Nelson. I mean, Tim Nelson's no joke. He's right there at the money spot every time he plays in our tournament. I think he had one tournament where he was 2 and out. Other than that, I think he's either been in the money or one out of the money. So I don't think it's that surprising with the draw that Ronaldo had that he went, basically 1 win and 2 losses. Josh, I mean, what was your first thoughts did you look at the bracket when it first popped up, or do you wait until later on in the tournament to look at it?
I think I look at the bracket this time around after I won my second match. I think it was.
Okay.
I think Ronaldo and Mike were playing either next to me or across from me in the first match. So I was kind of keeping an eye on that. And yeah, Ronaldo had as tough as it can possibly get. And losing that first match, especially when he had the chance to win. Last week we talked about this, right? I can deflate you a little bit. And maybe that played out. In the back of his mind, he's probably thinking, man, now I have to do some serious work. And you kind of run out of steam early sometimes if you're not feeling like 100% and be like, I'm going to grind this out,
Yeah, he was definitely – I could tell he was frustrated after losing to Mike, especially considering that – I mean, when he lost to BJ, especially considering that I feel like, Ronaldo played so great against Mike first round and then kind of missed some balls against BJ the second round. And he was clearly frustrated going into his third match against Tim Nelson. And Tim's a weird player to play. I don't know how much y'all have played Tim, but Tim's a great player, fantastic player. But he also, will go for some shots where it's like, why would he go for that? And then he hits it so perfect. You're like, I can't believe he went for that and hit it that perfect. Obviously, he beat me as well in the tournament. So he had a good tournament, finished 1 out of the money. But yeah, I think the toughest draw of the tournament, though, I mean, obviously Ronaldo did have a tough draw playing Mike and then BJ, but also Jacob Blake had to play both of them as well, except obviously playing Mike on the loser side. So Jacob Blake with a tough draw, playing BJ first round, Mike Davis second round. I mean, we've all been in that position, right? I mean, Pat, you've played the 2 best players probably your first 2 matches as well, right? Like, we all know what that's like.
Yeah, 75% of my tournaments, that's usually how it goes. I'll get Hank first, and then somewhere coming is Clint Clark or somebody else like it. So, it is what it is. Sometimes you just get a tough draw, like you say, and it's just you kind of just do what you can and have some fun with it, and just find little things you can build on your game. Find little things to feel good about going into those matches. Whether you made it competitive, you got a rack, you got to set off.
Yeah, exactly. You just got to look at something positive. You got to take something positive from it. Josh, what did you think about, we were doing the Calcutta, obviously BJ goes first, Mike goes second. Josh Heater actually goes third. I mean, do you think that was probably the top 3? Like, do you think that should have been the top 3?
I was not there for the first half of the Calcutta.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I'm so honestly over there. I will think that Ronaldo probably would have gone third since that's his home place.
Yeah.
But Josh did finish or won the last time we were there, or split the last time we were there, or whatnot.
So, yes, exactly. I mean, he was coming off of a good tournament there a few months ago. So I think that's one reason why he went third. We did have the Facebook poll up though that morning of who we thought would win. The Facebook poll was Mike Davis, BJ Ussery, Ronaldo Bot, Hank Powell. Obviously, the most people picked Mike Davis, followed by BJ, then Hank. Actually, Other got more votes than Hank, and then Ronaldo with the least amount of votes. So obviously, nobody was really feeling Ronaldo in this tournament. I mean, he had the least amount of votes out of 4 people and plus others. So I voted. My vote was for Hank Powell because I'm waiting for him to get that first trophy. Do you guys want to share who y'all voted for in the poll? I mean, Josh, you weren't an option this time, so you couldn't vote for yourself. But
I voted for Other because that's just what I do. Like if I'm playing, I'm gonna either vote for myself or Other because I don't see the reason to do anything else. If I'm not playing, then I'll pick somebody.
Nice. I mean, that makes perfect sense. Pat, did you take Other as well, or did you take?
I picked Mike.
Okay.
I pick Mike this time. I'm used Josh. 9 times out of 10, I'm doing the same thing for the same reasons. If I'm playing, I'm picking myself. This was just not that time. I was like, you know what? I'll live outside of my emotions this time, and I'll just pick Mike. It's just pure logic. No, but I think you made a point too about Renal and Josh Heater going third. I 100% would pick Josh Heater going third as far as like the blind bid and the Calcutta over Renal. It's rare that I see Renal stand out in a tournament that has a lot of heavy hitters in it. You know what I mean? It's rare. I always expect him to get into the money no matter what tournament he's playing in. But looking at this roster, I probably would have picked Ronaldo to be like fifth, sixth, maybe seventh if something weird happened, later on in the rounds. But I'm not surprised that Josh Heater went before him. He usually falls short.
It's also tempo. It's also
But
tempo, right? So Josh has a much better tempo break than Ronaldo does. I think that's probably Ronaldo's weakness is the break. In a game in 9-ball, if you know how to rack and you know how to put them tight, not so much. But on 10-ball, your break really has to be on point to kind of like stand out. I have a good chance.
Yeah, and also Josh has had a good record in our 10-ball tournaments. He's gotten third place and second place in a couple of our 10-ball tournaments, whereas Renal, I don't recall Renal getting a top 3 finish in any of our. Well, no, actually he did split one with Mike Davis one time, but other than that, I feel like Renal kind of struggles maybe a little bit in the 10-ball. So Josh has that game and personality that kind of sticks out a little bit more. Like when Josh Heater's in the room, you know what I'm saying? Like Renal can kind of slide in, and you might be like, "Where's Renal at?" So I think that kind of plays a factor too. Like
You're
sometimes
right.
you're just gonna sometimes you're gonna pick the guy because he's there. Like I mean, I don't know. To me, that's how I view it. Like so I think Renal kind of slides under the radar a little bit, but. Let's go ahead and dive into this tournament, guys. Let's go ahead and dive into these players that kicked some butt. Obviously, it wasn't me. Spoiler alert, it wasn't me. Once again, another trophy without the man in charge taking home another tournament without the man in charge taking home the trophy. So something's wrong. First place, the winner of the tournament, BJ Ussery. That's back-to-back final appearances for him, as the week before he split with Mike Davis. I'm just gonna go to Pat first. Pat, are we finally starting to see BJ figure out this format and how to basically take charge and get to the end?
I don't know if that was ever a question. I don't know if it was ever a question of him figuring out the format or not.
Well, he'd only won one other tournament with this format, so
And but I think that's just proof of concept for the format, not necessarily him not being able to figure it out. I think it's proof of concept that anything can happen at any point. So it's the great equalizer. So we don't have to go roll with handicaps and things like that. But BJ gonna be BJ. Either he's shooting well and he's motivated, or he's just not. One of the two. There's no real in between with him, as far as I've been able to tell in the short time I've seen his game. So no, I mean, I think in this one he brought, for the most part, some of his best later on when it really mattered most, and he was able to cruise when he needed to cruise. And as I'm saying that, maybe to your point, maybe there is a little bit of truth to that. Maybe he's figuring out when he can cruise and just kind of take a couple of racks here and there and just move on to the next one, and then he matches up against a Runal, a Heater, a Top Shelf, somehow, and then he's got to really try to step it up, bring his A game.
I mean, he definitely did not really have an easy draw. I mean, Jacob Blake, maybe is on paper the weakest player that he played. So it's not like BJ really had an easy draw. I mean, he beats Renal second round, Josh Heater third round. Beats you, Josh, in the fourth round. And then obviously, surprise in the hot seat match, which we'll get to in a second. But yeah, I mean, he had a tough tournament. I was impressed. I felt like he was playing a lot better than he was last week, even though last week he still made it to the finals, which was impressive. I mean, Josh, you got to play him. I mean, what's your thoughts on how BJ did in this tournament?
Yeah, I mean, he plays his game. I think it's kind of like what Pat is saying. It's just the format. Sometimes he just kind of runs that way. I mean, he's still gonna play his game, and sometimes we talked about this last week, right? There was like 3 matches where his opponent shot at the winning ball and missed to give him a chance. And I think at least on this tournament, he did have by far the toughest draw. So that's a plus there. Nobody had it tougher than BJ, right? For the whole, for all the players. But he could have lost to Ronald, he could have lost to me, honestly, probably like a
Yep.
rack away. I mean, things could have changed there too. And then he definitely could have lost to Joe Hyatt in 2 sets, I think. And then on the third set, he shot the winning ball too, I think, twice.
Yeah.
So it's just, I mean, he still played good, but like Pat is saying, it's just anything can happen.
Yeah, it was fun to watch. I mean, it looked like he was playing really good, but yeah, there were still some matches that were pretty close. Like you said, I thought Joe Hyatt actually, I thought little Joe was going to beat him. I really did. Like, honestly, I really thought that he was going to beat him. That was an insane match. Pat, you're kind of shaking your head. I guess you thought it was a great match.
Oh yeah, 100%. Joe was on a tear. Man, I was feeling good. I got my little first round win against Tim, and then I saw Joe. I was like, okay, I might have a chance to win 2 in a row, and he squashed that so fast. I was like, dude, go all the way, man. He had a really great day, really great
Yeah.
day.
I mean, he's playing really good. I mean, the 2 previous tournaments I'd played in before this one, he beat me. So I think the kid's playing really strong. He's playing a lot. He's putting in a lot of work, and it's been a lot of fun to watch him kind of bounce up and get to a point where now he's cashing in open events. I mean, that's insane that he's at that level already. The second place player in this tournament, though, Josh Heater, second place. This is the third tournament he's played this year, and it's the third time he's been in the finals. Just saying, that's a pretty strong record there. He's got a first place and 2 second places in the pool series this year. I mean, Josh, what do you think about Heater and how he's playing overall? Like, I feel like we're not seeing him that much, but when we do see him, it seems like he's playing really good.
Yeah, I think he's at least being a little more consistent. I think that's the thing. I think, he's always had like a high gear, but then if something goes wrong, he just goes kind of like down the deep end.
Yeah.
And it seems like he's just being a little more consistent on his level of play, and that's going to show results.
For sure, yeah. The consistency is the key. That's always been, like you said, I think that's always been one thing missing from his game is that he would get to a certain point in the tournament and like basically miss a ball or somebody would get a lucky roll and then it would just kind of stay in his head for the rest of the day. So, and he had a long tournament. He played 9 matches, lost his third round, and then fought all the way through the loser side. He beats Mike Davis, knocks Mike Davis out of the tournament, and honestly, I think it was 3-1 third set. And the last rack, Mike kind of plays safe on the 9-ball and leaves Josh a long table bank, and Josh just drilled it in, just drills it, and then straight in on the 10. It was a fantastic shot. Josh is a great bank shot player. Pat, I mean, what do you think about Josh Heater, man? 3 finals this year, that's pretty strong.
Yeah, that's pretty strong, man. And you could argue that he probably had the second toughest draw outside of BJ. I mean, the only guy that he didn't beat was BJ all day. He's got, and say what you want, Craig Titlebaum might be, or Rob Goldblatt, whoever there. Craig might be one on the lower end, but Craig ain't no joke. We've already seen what Craig can do and go on a tear. What was it, last November or whatever it was last year?
Yeah.
On the tear after Smoking Q. So he went through him, sadly. He had Mike, like you said, he ended up beating him.
Yeah. I think him and Rob went hill third set, I think.
Yeah, they did. They did. They definitely went to a third set. So going hill third set. So people are shooting at him.
Yeah. Rob's a good player, too,
and then he played.
Like, don't pay attention to his Fargo. I don't know what's up with that, but kid's a good player.
And got no robustness. And then he finally stopped the freight train that was Mighty Joe Hyatt, and that even went to a third set. So if he shows, it's rare that he shows up and he doesn't play well. But it's kind of like when he doesn't, you hear about it. You know what I mean? So it always makes it fun when he's there, no matter what, because you're going to get a good show.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, shout out to Josh. Hopefully he comes and plays in more before the December gets here.
Yeah, I hope he comes and plays more too. I mean, it's tough though. I mean, I think his kid just turned 1, so he's got a 1-year-old baby now. Time flies, because I remember when he was talking about the kid being born. So good for that. Let's go ahead and talk to the third place finisher. I think this is the one that we all kind of want to talk about. Well, it's the one I want to talk about. Joe Hyatt Jr. getting third place, 18 years old, finishing third place in an open tournament. I mean, man, 18 years old, I don't even know if I knew how to hold a pool cue. So I'm really impressed by this kid. Pat, I mean, go ahead, man. What's your thoughts on Joe Jr.?
I hope he sticks with it. I hope
Yeah.
deep down he really loves the game and just wants to play and sticks with it because he's got a lot of talent. He's got a lot of talent. He can go very, very far. Great fundamentals, great point. He's got that youthful ignorance where he has no fear. It could be a bank shot, two rail kick around the table, whatever shot he feels like he needs to make, defense, whatever it is, he's got 100% confidence towards that shot, make or miss. So hopefully he keeps that and he has a passion for the game because I would 10, 15 years from now, bro, there's no telling where he could be.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, he could become the favorite to win some of these tournaments if he sticks at it. The part that impressed me the most was he played his brother first round, and I was like, that could, yeah, yeah. I mean, that could be a problem sometimes because maybe you don't take it serious, and your head just isn't right, and then even if you win, it'll be hard to get in stroke for your second match. But I mean, he bounced back pretty strong. Josh, I mean, what did you think? You didn't get to play Joe, but I mean, what do you think about the kid?
I was going to say that it's kind of brutal that he drew his brother in the first round.
Yeah.
He's improved a ton. Back, I want to say 2 years ago when I first kind of started seeing them and whatnot, I thought that maybe the little brother kind of had the more talent on
Yeah.
on the game,
Jacob.
but I feel like now Joe is just kind of taking off,
Yeah, I
and
agree with that, man. I agree.
and it might be that I know that Jacob, right, he likes baseball more than pool, so pool is kind of like his secondary hobby. Where I think that Joe Hyatt is more like pool is like his first hobby, so that's going to make a big difference on how much effort you put and on practice and on the game.
For sure. And from what I was talking to Joe a little bit, and I mean, he's playing a ton right now. He says that's all he's doing. He's on summer break from school. I think maybe he's still in high school. I don't know. He's 18, so I don't know if he's done or not, but definitely at least out for the summer. And he's playing a lot, man. That's what he was talking about. He's like, dude, I'm waking up and just playing pool, staying up all night playing pool. So I think maybe we might be seeing a lot from him for the rest of the year, maybe. I mean, it's all about being in stroke. And if he's in stroke, I mean, that's going to help him a lot. So I'm excited to see what the future holds for him. I mean, have you played him before? Have you played him before, Josh?
Oh yeah, we play a bunch of times.
Okay.
And I think this top 3 finishes, if he's playing as much as like he was telling you.
Yeah.
I remember right before he played BJ, he came up to me. He was pumped. He was pumped. He wanted to beat BJ so bad, and he's like, "Man, if I'm just gonna beat him, I'm gonna beat him. And if I beat him, I'm gonna text him every single day that I freaking beat you in the tournament." I mean, he was pumping himself up so high, and I think that even though he's probably beating himself up because he was one shot away from getting to the finals, but just getting to the podium is probably going to motivate him to practice even harder. So you might be right. We might see him quite a bit more for the rest of the year or from here on.
I hope so. Let me ask y'all this question. If Joe would have pulled off that upset against BJ, is that the biggest upset in the pool series history? By far, right? No? Pat, you disagree?
I'd have to think about that one. There's something that has happened that I can't just pull straight out right now, but I don't think if he would have beaten him, that would have been the biggest upset. I think maybe the biggest upset definitely of the tournament.
So you're thinking the biggest upset in pool series history was the curse beating the legend Eddie Little. Is that what you're saying? Is that Pat Dixon over Eddie Little?
While you playing, that might be it. That's up there. Okay, it's up there. No, if would have beat BJ if Joe would have beat BJ in the hot seat match, at least punch his ticket to the finals, that would have been bigger than me beating Eddie in round 3 or whatever it was, for sure.
I think it was round. It was round 2 because Eddie went 2 and out that day. He lost to Alan Profit and Pat Dixon.
Hey, yeah. Pat, you were commentating that match, and I was playing and only seeing it from far away. How makeable when he got ball in hand to shoot that 110 combination shot? How makeable was that shot? Do you remember?
I don't remember. Was it
You
a
remember
cut? Was the 10 getting cut to the top left hand corner? Was it that shot?
So from your point of view of the table, the 10 was on the bottom
Mhm.
left corner, and the one ball was almost on the bottom right corner, and it was
Yeah.
a ball like underneath it, and
The five
he
ball was
was to the
blocking
corner
it. Yeah.
pocket, and then but from
It
my angle,
was
it was
it
very
was tight. It was really tight. It was
I don't.
really tight. It was one of those situations where it might have been like a centimeter away from him having just enough room to be able to actually make the combo. It was.
I don't think. I think the ball that was under the one ball was like a little in the way of him being able to make a good hit to play that
Okay.
110. I think that's what it
That's what
was.
I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
But
That ball that was, I think it might have been the 9 ball, but it was just
yeah,
in the way, just barely in the way for him to be able to make a clean 110. Like he would have probably had to like sent the one off the rail first in order to do it because of where that 9 ball was, but he couldn't go directly from the 1 to the 10.
Okay.
It was hard. Yeah.
I think he should have still tried to find a way to go for that 110 or play safe there or something, because I don't know. I just think moving that 10 ball in that spot was probably the right decision. You never know. Maybe it goes in. Maybe you get safe. I would have liked to have seen
I
him
think in
swing at it
hindsight,
from
I,
left.
I would have liked to see him draw into it at the point where he couldn't put the cue
That
ball
too.
where it
Yeah.
was to send the 1 there, just like go straight draw back into the 10 because the 10 wasn't necessarily hanging, but it was close enough to that pocket where you had a little bit of room for error where you might be able to draw. Like if you really wanted to go for it, then just go for the carom instead of the instead of.
Or like do a stop shot and leave the cue like right on top of the 9 ball, send the 1 ball rail first into the 10,
Yes.
and get a little bit of a flyer, and even if you miss it, you're jacked up over the 9 with the cue ball.
Yes. That's what I was thinking. I think that was the smart way to go. Because then, at worst case scenario, you leave a tough shot for BJ instead of, like if the cue ball is frozen to the 9 or whatever. So either way, I mean, that's a tough spot. I mean, obviously, we kind of probably all play that a little differently if we're in that situation. Let's move on. Let's go to the fourth place finisher. This guy, man, is this back-to-back fourth place finishes when he's been at Smoking Q, I believe. That's you, Josh. That's you, by the way. Josh has run fourth place. Yeah, fourth place. Second time you played at Smoking Q this year, right? Second time you got fourth place. You got fourth earlier this year as well, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, you're consistent. There's that.
Josh Hader both times too.
Oh wow. Okay. Well,
Yeah.
there you go. That's wow. Okay. So that's your arch nemesis in the pool series.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean,
yeah.
deal.
No, I mean
Build the
that's
drama.
that's a good match though. I mean, between you guys, I think y'all are pretty even matchup, really, honestly. Like I don't know how you feel about it, but I think it would be a coin flip when you guys play. I think so.
Well, the last 2 times, no, but yeah, it's always been back and forth. Most of the times that I've played him, but yeah, he's beat me the last 2 times. Or this weekend, and then the last time I was there.
Yeah. So I mean,
and then I think in 2024 I beat him more times because we played in the finals of a couple of tournaments too.
Oh, nice.
Up here in Raleigh, but yeah, the pool series we played only twice, and he beat me twice.
Well, let's run through your tournament here really quick. You beat Lucky Luciano 2-0, I guess. You beat Jeremy Pereira 2-0. You beat Brian Francis 2-0. Then you lose to BJ in the third set. You beat Hank Powell in a third set, and then you lose to Josh Heater in the third set. Pat, what do you think about that tournament run there by Josh?
The easiest draw out of anybody in the no. No, but I honestly think this might be one of the best draws you can have if you're trying to have a nice deep run against some of the top competition, because it's not like Lucky, Jeremy, or Brian are weak by any stretch of the imagination, right? But these are good rounds to find your stroke in. You know what I mean? Find your stroke in, build your base, and get ready for some of these bigger dogs in the fight. Boy, I thought you was gonna beat BJ.
Yeah.
I thought you beat him. The way that you came back and you had that focus, like we were talking about when we were there, I was like, he's gonna punch his ticket. Like he's definitely gonna win this match. And it was just you'd have to remind, but I think it was just like a couple of errant misses, or maybe like a defense that rolled out or something. But you played so well, and then to take Hank Powell and Josh Heater both, I feel like all those last 3 matches against BJ, Josh, and Hank Powell, those are supposed to go 3 sets. When you play those guys, like something has to be going wrong for them to at least not get a rack or a set off of you, and vice versa. But I think you had a great tournament, man. It's always fun to watch. I always enjoy watching, see like what your decision making is. I think you have really nice shot making. You got some good defensive play as well. So shout out to you, man. Back to back for us. Next time you're gonna get on the podium, and then you let me hold $5 because I'm gonna root for you on the sidelines and all that good stuff. No, man, good tournament.
Yeah, I think, Josh, it was a great tournament as well, man. I think you're definitely supposed to beat Lucky. You're definitely supposed to beat Jeremy. So no surprise that those went 2 sets to nothing both times. Brian, Brian could always put up a little bit of a fight. I definitely think you're favored to beat him. So I'm not really surprised that you won. Maybe I'm surprised it didn't go to a third set, maybe, but that just shows how good you were playing. You and Hank Powell had one of the craziest matches. I mean, you kind of talked about it already earlier before we got on the show, but I mean, almost 3 hours y'all played. I could have watched I could have watched the Lord of the Rings movie while y'all were playing.
Extended cut.
Oh, there was an
directors.
Extended cut? Oh my god.
No chance of the extended cut, but yeah, close.
It was a weird match, bro. Like I was watching, and literally every rack, like there's balls tied up, or like you're in weird spots where you got to play safe. It was like y'all just never had a run out. Like I never saw either one of y'all break and run. It was very strange to see 2 guys that are, easily top 5 in this tournament have a match where it's like neither one of y'all had a chance to really show your skills. Like it was just, let's play safe. Let's play safe. Like there's balls tied up. Like, it was very weird. It was a very weird match, but great job to fight through and win. I mean, I think that was probably your most impressive win for sure, especially the way that it went. And then, yeah, against BJ and against Josh Heater, I thought you were going to win, honestly, at some point in that match. So for you to lose both of them kind of sucks. But again, both really good players, both in the finals. So, yeah, Josh, go ahead and walk us through your tournament, man. Like, tell us, dive into it a little bit. Give the people your thoughts.
Well, first match against Lucky Luciano I never played him before. Nothing much happened there. I played pretty good. I don't think I've missed a single shot there, or the part that we played. Jeremy Pereira.
By the way, you and Lucky did play on the toughest table in the pool hall, so there's that.
It did not. I did think it was kind of tight. I was like, oh,
yeah,
but it don't really bother me.
Yeah.
Jeremy Pereira, he kind of impressed me because I saw his Fargo was 470. I don't know what the robustness is, but he actually was playing pretty good. I think either the first or second set he took me to the hill. He had a couple of run outs, and I was like, wow.
He plays.
He was confident.
Yeah, he definitely plays better than that Fargo. He don't play enough. His robustness, I think, is probably pretty small because he don't really play. Like honestly, he really don't play that many tournaments at all. Like he's just kind of a guy that you'll see in the pool, just kind of practicing and stuff. But yeah, Jeremy should probably be more like a 550. I feel like more so than like a 475.
That's kind of what I thought. I was a little surprised in a good way, and he was a super nice guy too.
Oh, one of the nicest.
Yeah, he was super nice. It was a good match, but he had a chance that he could have gone to the third set. He could have beat me 1 set there.
Oh wow.
Then Brian Francis, I feel like he just never got comfortable at all playing me on the TV table, and I also got a couple of pretty decent rolls too. And I think that kind of made it frustrate him a little bit more and made me a little uncomfortable. And he never had a chance to get going. And I had a couple really good outs on top of that against Brian. And then
you definitely played good that match for sure.
Yeah. Then against BJ, the only thing that I really regret that was there was a shot. I think it was the first track of the third set. I'm on a run, winning, I think 3-0, won the second set. I'm feeling good. And I had to slow roll a ball. It felt like it rolled off a little bit, but I was just trying to hold position too much. And I just hung it in there. And I feel like that kind of changed a little bit the momentum. And then it's 2-1. and I have a 210 combination shot. And I think it was not the easiest combination shot by any far because I had to it was a double cut. But I was really focused on that combination shot because I knew it's if I had it on me that if I made that combination shot, I was going to win the match. It's just how I felt. It might have not been the case, but that's just how I felt. Now the natural angle of the cue ball was for it to go and scratch. I was like, whatever you do, don't take that natural angle. But I was focusing so much on the cue ball or on the combination shot that's exactly what happened. The cue ball just went 2 rails and scratched in the corner pocket, and I think that was the last rack, right? Yeah, because it was 2-1, and then we went 2-2. So yeah, that was the last rack.
You had another bad scratch in that same rack, though. You got back to the table. Do you remember you got back to the table? I think maybe you kicked at a ball and hit it, maybe, or something, or you jumped and made a ball and scratched also. Yeah,
I don't remember.
Yeah. You got back to the table. You got back to the table and made some kind of other crazy shot and scratch because. Me and Brian Francis, I think, were commentating. And I clearly remember telling them, man, Josh has had two horrible scratches in the same rack.
Okay.
I don't think I'd ever seen such bad scratches because the 210 combo you scratched and then you got back to the table and scratched again. So yeah, that was just it was like it was meant to be. It was like it was meant to be.
I have to go back and watch the part because I honestly don't remember.
Yeah. I remember.
Yeah, I believe you.
Pepperidge Farms remembers.
Yeah, I believe you.
Yes.
The match against Hank, like you said, was super interesting too on that regards. He broke dry and I run out. And I think I got to the hill. I think I won the first 2, or it was 2-1 very quickly. I had 2 break and runs on that match. So there were some run outs and he had 1. But there was always in each set, there was always one rack where everything was a mess, and it was just a lot of safeties. And honestly, I was really impressed by Hank's smart play. I would think because his safety play was really good. He just no dumb decisions at all. And every time I would put him on a really bad spot, he would find a way. I had him on 2 fouls twice, and he found a way to just kick at the right angles, the right speed, and just get better, basically like a kick safety or like a kick containment shot. I was really surprised on how well he plays those shots. And then, and I also kicked pretty good. So I remember there was a ball, I think it was like a 4 ball. We went 15 innings back and forth, just playing safeties on one ball. And all 3 sets went to the hill.
Yeah, you guys played every game you could. It was
right.
Just for stats purposes. It was the second longest match of the day. The longest one was 3 hours and 27 minutes. It was Kevin Candido and Tom Kasha in the first round. So to go ahead and throw that out there, Josh. You didn't quite get the longest match of the day.
I did think so. I'm surprised to hear that number.
Yeah, me too. That's a long match.
I was at Pat before you joined in on the stream. I was telling, and he let me know about this 3 hour and 30 minutes. I was telling Justin, it's like, man, I think I got the record for the fastest and longest match on the pool series. Because when we're here at break time, you missed that. I think I won one in it was 14 minutes or something like that, but 17 minutes.
No, it was like 26 or 27 or something like that.
That was taking a break.
Yeah,
I was taking a break.
Who was that? Who was it against? Do you remember?
I don't remember.
Yeah,
it was one of the newer guys. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a
guy.
Too
bad you don't have the longest one.
Oh, Chuck Miller. It was against Chuck Miller, right?
Chuck Miller might have been right.
Yeah. Well, Josh, great tournament though, buddy. Congrats on 4th place. Congrats on another cash performance in the pool series. You're having a pretty good year so far, I would say. You haven't played that many events, but the ones you have played, you've done pretty well. So congrats, buddy. Good job, man.
Thanks, man. I think just all tournaments but one I haven't cashed, right? I think we talked about that last time. Yeah.
Yep. Let's move on. Let's talk about 5th, 6th place finishers. Brian Davis, first time cashing in the pool series, only the 2nd time he's played. And then Hank Powell, 5th, 6th. The dude's in the money almost every time we see him, so I'm not really surprised anymore. Pat, what do you think about? I mean, what do you think about Brian and Hank, man? I mean, your first time really seeing Brian.
Yeah, that was a big surprise for me. I didn't know who he was, where he came from, and how well he could play. You see these Fargos, and you kind of can only take them with a grain of salt until you actually see someone play, because they could be higher, they could be lower. They could be having a great day, it could be having a real bad day. But Brian seemed to be having a real good day.
Yeah.
Um,
I
I
mean, he
mean,
beat
he
Hank earlier in the
he
tournament.
he too old Hank in the tournaments.
Bro,
Yeah.
Anybody that puts a 2-0 on Hank, I don't care who it is, I'm paying attention to you. I got to ask questions.
Yeah.
What happened? Was Hank asleep? Did he fall down? What took place? So no, great tournament. And then of course, Hank, he's gonna fight back, but he had a really good opening as well. He usually starts off strong, so it didn't surprise me that he beat Javier, but it did surprise me that that went 2-0. I expect
Yeah.
Javier to be able to get a set off, and a close set at that. But nah, man, if he beating somebody, it looks like he beat everybody in 2 sets if he's gonna win, and he ended up losing to like you said, the guy who plays with him, and then this guy up here above me, top shelf. Hank's always going to play strong. I just can't wait for this guy to finally win one. He's gonna do it in 2025. Okay, he's our new Clay Davis / Ronaldo. He's got that spot where we're all just waiting for him to get over that hump, get the right draw, have the right day, and take home one of these trophies finally.
Yeah, it's definitely time for Hank to win one, man. And Brian's a huge supporter of the pool series. I know he watches a lot and pays attention a lot. So I was glad that to see him cash. He is a really good player. Probably his Fargo probably is a little lower than it should be. Josh, I mean, what's your thoughts on those two guys, man?
I've never seen Brian Davis. I feel like I've seen his name quite a few times. I think he came with a group of people too, right?
He did,
He,
yeah. He came with
he
like
looked like he had some
three of his
supporters
friends.
there. Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh, all I saw about his match, I saw a little bit of him playing Joe Hyatt. That was actually kind of close.
yeah, that was a good match.
Yeah, and then Josh Heater, I think. I mean, I think the score shows 0-2, but didn't he go both sets go Hill Hill? I think he had a chance.
The first set was definitely Hill for sure.
Yeah, the first set I felt like he should have won. He had
Yeah,
the open table. I think he was like 3 balls away from winning the first set, because I was playing and I was kind of looking at the score a little
yeah.
bit, and I did watch that part. And I'm not sure if the second set went Hill Hill. So I felt like that match, even though that Josh is the favorite, should have gone 3 sets. And like Pat was saying, beating Han Powell 2-0, I would like to ask Han some questions there too.
Yeah, it was a quick match too.
Oh,
I was very surprised.
sorry, I actually did talk to Hank. Thank you for the reminder. I actually did talk to Hank after that, and he was like, he came and pulled me to the side. He was like, "Hey, man." So you know who this Brian Davis guy is? I was like, "Nah, man, I never seen him." Why would he say, "Dude, he beat the dog shit." It's like he beat me so bad, he beat the brakes off of me. And I said, "This guy playing right here, really?" He was like, "Brother," he's like, "I don't think he missed the ball." I think that's what it was. He said that Brian Davis didn't miss one shot like the entire set. And I think he said he only missed like 2 shots the whole second set. Like he was just playing out of his mind. And Hank never really just had a chance. He never had a chance to get out. Like he might have broke dry or like missed the defense or something like that, but he never had a clean shot. And Brian was playing like his best pool against him. So that's actually what ended up happening. He ran into a freight train.
I believe it. Brian seemed like he's the kind of guy that he can get in stroke. And then, Hank, finishing in fifth, sixth place too. After a match, I shook his hand. I told him, "He's like, hey man, I'm always rooting for you too." Like kind of like what Pat is saying. I would like to see him win one. I think that Hank is like super nice. He's a gentleman, and he knows a lot about the game.
Oh yeah,
I enjoy playing him. It's actually my first time playing him. I've seen him play a ton, but I've never played him before, and that was our first time. And I think that we kind of have like similar games, like decision making and that kind of stuff like that. Like I felt he plays like super solid. Like I've never thought about like any shot was kind of iffy or anything like that. And I was impressed, like I said, on his kicking and like safety ability and just do those tricky run outs. Yeah, I can't wait to see him win one. It's just I hope it's not against me.
I actually, I do think that y'all have a very similar game for sure. But yeah, I mean, not to make either one of you mad, but Hank is definitely the one that I'm cheering for to win a tournament next. Like
No
He's played in
problem.
so many. He's played in so many
Right.
of our events. Yeah, like I mean, last year I think he had a run where it was like 6 straight tournaments where he was top 4, I think, or something like that. So it's like he's been so close. I just want to see it happen one time. He's kind of
Yeah.
like, he's kind of like the Boston Celtics of the last 10 years. Like they're Eastern Conference Finals like every year, and then they finally get one. So hopefully Hank is like that. Hopefully he finally breaks through and gets one. Let's talk about 7th, 8th place finishers because I think 7th, 8th, you got the legend killer Rico Gonzalez, and then you got Moscone Mike, the guy who's been torturing everybody in the first half of the season. But he starts the second half of the season with a 7th place finish. Although he did start the very first tournament of the year with non-cash, so maybe he just likes to kind of start off a little slow. But yeah, I mean, Rico ends up losing to Hank. I think honestly, it wouldn't surprise me if Rico won that match. He is the legend killer. Hank, I think, qualifies as a legend, so maybe Rico was expected to win that match. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, Josh, what do you think about Rico and Mike finishing 7th, 8th?
I'm actually kind of happy for Rico. I saw some of Hank was not playing good at that match, and Rico had several opportunities to pull the upset, and it could have been an upset. Every time I see Rico too, I'm always rooting for him. So I'm happy he cashed, and hopefully, it would have been nice to see him have like just at least one above. I don't know what his best finish has been, but
he's gotten 5th place a couple of times.
He's getting there. And Mike, Mike just, drawing Ronaldo at the TV table in the first round, knowing that Ronaldo's going to be gunning for him, that's going to be tough. And then he ran into Josh, and it looks like that went down to the third set. And you said what? Was it heel on the third set?
No, it was 3-1, and then they kind of had a defensive battle on the 9, and Mike ended up leaving him like a long table bank, and Josh just, fires it in and ends up straight in on the 10. I mean, it was a great shot. It was kind of like, I forget who I was sitting with, but we were watching it, and it was like, somebody was like, I think you should play safe here. And I was like, man, Josh is going to fire this ball, and he's probably favored to make it because he's a good banker. So, yeah, that was obviously a good match.
Yeah. I mean, it's like we're so used to Mike being on the finals on the top 3 consistently, but what he has pulled the first half of the year is so unbelievable. Yep. You could argue that BJ, I mean, they're pretty close, but you could argue that BJ is a better player right now than Mike is, and he hasn't even done a 10th of what Mike has done this year on the pool series. It's just that run, it's been unbelievable. And for us to have that high bar for a very long period of time, it's just kind of tough. He's going to have tournaments like this. I know he's going to win some more, but how long can he really keep it up?
Yeah, I mean, I'm almost sad. Like, almost feel sad when I go to like cash him out and he's not like top 2 or 3. I'm like, this just doesn't. It's weird.
Right.
Yeah, it was weird only handing them like one bill instead of handing them like, like a rubber band. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm used to giving them so much, and then this time I'm just like, here's one. Like,
here's your entry feedback. Thanks for playing.
Yeah, I mean, it was. Oh man, it was so weird. Pat, what do you think about Rico and Mike getting 7th, 8th?
Yeah, it's always crazy. If Mike ain't winning, it's something. If he's down at 7th, 8th, it's going to be a tournament to remember for sure. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think the focus on this one is honestly on Rico, because with Mike, I don't know that I ever expected him to like win every tournament as good as he is. He might always be the number 1 or second best player in the field, depending on who shows up, depending on where we are. But I never would have expected him to be able to sustain that for the rest of the year. That's a lot to ask of anybody, especially with this format. So I think the bigger 7th, 8th finisher here is Rico. In this field, if you look at 9 through 32, you could name 5, 6, 7, 8 other players that could easily have been in 7th and 8th over Rico. So shout out to him. And he was actually struggling a lot in a few of his matches, but he found
he lost first round.
Lost first round and started battling back, 1-4 straight, right? And especially like in the match against Kevin Candido that ended up going to a third set. I thought he was going to lose, and that was going to be the end of his tournament right there, because they were just kind of going back and forth. They were both really struggling throughout that match, and Rico just found moments where he could capitalize and make 2-3 balls get out. Play a good save, got ball in hand, last couple balls, and then he could get out again. But he was missing a lot of shots. So that grind, I think, Josh, you mentioned maybe it was about Brunal or somebody else earlier when we first kind of started the podcast today. But do you have that grind when you come out and you lose that first round match? Do you have that mentality like, okay, I'm going to come in this next round, I'm going to try to get this win, and I'm really going to focus on grinding out on the B side and seeing how far I can take this? I feel like he really took that to heart, and he did that. So that's a shout out to Rico, man, for sure. Always rooting for that guy. Always.
Yeah, always rooting for Rico as well. Let's talk about, though, you mentioned there was 5 or 6 other guys that you thought could be 7th, 8th. Let's talk about one of those guys. Just enough, Justin Clark. That's right. That's me. I'm just kidding. I probably shouldn't have been 7th, 8th. But I did finish 13th through 16th. Here's how my tournament went. I beat Ryan Daughtry 2-0, lose to Josh Heater 2-0, beat Nathan Johnson 2-0, lose to Tim Nelson 2-0. I hate going to a third set, apparently. Don't want it to happen. I mean, Josh, do you got anything to say about my tournament run there? It was a little longer, than some of the other ones I've had, but you got anything to say about it?
I just feel bad because you're running the event, and I just feel like we can't put too much expectations on you. Just based on like Fargo or rating, you should have been there for sure. What, 1, 2, 3, 4? I mean, you had like the 7th highest Fargo of everyone,
Nice.
And maybe I feel a little bit responsible because of the drama that happened there. I know you missed a few easy balls on that one. On that one match.
Definitely not blaming you at all. Definitely not blaming you at all.
Trying to calm everything down. Well, I think it's just so hard. I try to put myself in your shoes, and it would be just so hard to try to run the event, do the Calcutta, commentate, and then try to play a good pool. It's asking a lot.
Yeah,
but maybe next time you play, try and like see if you can find out like something on your mind where you can like compartmentalize everything, and then just be like, okay, this is my match. I'm just gonna focus on playing, and recruit some of the minions to help you with the rest until you finish your match.
Yeah, definitely. That's definitely what I need to do. But yeah, I definitely don't blame you or any of the
I know you
that was
don't.
happening with my match with Tim Nelson. If anything, I felt bad for Tim for having to sit there for like 10 minutes or whatever it was, like while I like tried to get things under control. Pat, what do you guys say about my 4 matches in this tournament?
Get better, dude. Practice more. I don't know. What do you want?
I agree. No,
I'm just kidding. I think, man, we talk about this a lot. It is so tough. If you're showing up to one of these tournaments and your goal is to do well, then I really hope the only thing that you have to do is play. If you have to do anything else, you got to run the tournament, you got to answer questions, you got to calm things down, you got to stream, you got to commentate, you got to go over here, you got to talk to the staff, if you're doing anything else outside of that, man, it's going to be a tough day. That being said, I think you won the matches that you're definitely supposed to win. You're supposed to beat Ryan Daughtry. I think you're supposed to beat Nate Johnson. I think you're supposed to beat Tim Nelson. Maybe that goes to a third set. But against Josh, even if it's Josh, if it's BJ, I don't care. I think it's always a shock to me if you don't get a set off on somebody. I think you just shoot that well. Like your low level base game is better than most. So I mean, all in all, for you to get 13th through 16th in this field with everything that was going on, yeah. And you know what? The biggest thing too, managing the bracket was very tough because we had so many matches that were going over, the 2-hour mark, 2.5, 3.5 hour matches and everything too.
Yeah, we had 8 matches
that's
take
a
over
lot.
2 hours. Yeah,
bro, and it wasn't a one pocket event. That's a very tough thing to have to manage because your mind, as hard as you you try, it's always on. Are they done yet? Do I need to go over here and check and see if we need to put somebody up? It's a lot. So, all in all, good tournament, man.
I will say it was a fun tournament. I had fun. Always a pleasure to play Ryan Daughtry. He kind of gave me both sets. Like he definitely should have won one of them. He missed a 10 ball in each set. Josh Heater, I definitely played awful in that match. Josh played good, but that was by far the worst match I played. Like, it wasn't even close. I mean, if I played better, I had chances, but just played awful. First time meeting Nate Johnson, first time playing Nate Johnson. That was definitely where I hit my stride. I definitely played fantastic against him. Kind of, was like, I don't know. I hit a groove. I felt like everything was just going smooth, and I was like, man, if I could keep this up. Against Tim Nelson, I lose Hill first set. He had a great out to beat me the first set. So, I mean, I've played Tim probably 200 times. He's probably the guy in that tournament that I've played the most, honestly. Like, I've known Tim for probably 15 years maybe, and we've played each other probably 200 times in a tournament. So we go back and forth all the time. I mean, am I supposed to win? I feel like it. Of course, he's going to tell you that he thinks he's supposed to win, but that's also what makes us good players, I think. We think we're supposed to win. So, yeah, I mean, I always have fun playing Tim, though. Super nice guy. He knows a lot about pool as well, and he, can do things that I can't do on the table. So I'm always impressed with some of the stuff he does. But, yeah, it was a fun tournament. I had a lot of fun. Pat, let's talk about your tournament since you're here. 17th place. Kind of one of your weaker, finishes this year. But you also had kind of a tough draw. You did beat Tim Nelson first round. Then you lose to Joe Hyatt Jr. And then you went to a third set with Mike Davis before he finished you off. I mean, honestly, that's not a bad tournament, really. You beat Tim in 2 sets. You lose to Joe in 2 sets. So we'll get Josh's thoughts first on what do you think about Pat's 3 matches there?
Well, you couldn't beat Tim Nelson, and Pat was.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
I told Pat this. This is back-to-back tournaments where he's playing Mike Davis and he's taking him to the third set. And when they were here at Brass Taps, I think if I remember right, he went hill on the third set with a shot to win too, right?
Okay. No. It wasn't a shot to win. It was a shot to. It was an open layout. I needed a break and run, and then I missed.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Like,
rail, and he
like
got
an
out.
opportunity.
Yeah.
You had an opportunity to win, right? It was up to you to make it happen, basically. And how did the third set on this time around go?
3-1. So funny enough, in this one, I could have beat Mike 2-0. We went hill in the first set, and then almost the same thing happened. I think I played a bad defense and it leaked out, and then he got out, and so we start the second set, and then I ended up beating him. Maybe
3-0.
I might have beat him 3. Was it 3-0?
Pretty sure, yeah.
I thought it was 3-1. So yeah, I ended up, just playing really well. I feel like I really played well all match, but that third set, I was just feeling real comfortable. Wasn't missing too many shots. Was really doing a better job, I think, in that second set of making the right decision. Knowing when to play defense, knowing when to hide. And then that third set came around, and he played a lot of good defense to get ball in hand, and he was getting out, and I didn't really have a chance at that third set.
It shows to me that just when you're playing somebody that's like really, really good, you have the ability to just step it up. And I think it's great because a lot of people would just break under those conditions, and it seems like you tend to rise. And I won't be surprised if the next time you play him or a BJ or something like that, you pull at, I guess on paper we'll consider an upset, but it would be a great win.
Yeah, I think Pat, you shouldn't be upset at all with this tournament. I mean, you beat Tim Nelson, who, I think is probably supposed to win that match. I think you and Joe Hyatt Jr. I mean, honestly, right now that's probably a toss-up. So I don't think that there's nothing wrong with losing that match. I am surprised it was 2-0, but again, the kid's playing really good. So, and then yeah, I mean, taking Mike Davis to a third set, like literally. I mean, I feel like you shouldn't be upset at all by this tournament. It's just kind of one of those draws where it's like, like if you could pull out that win against Joe, maybe you're in the hot seat match. Like that was the key match for you, I feel like. But sometimes that goes your way, sometimes it doesn't. And then you just get to the loser side and face a guy that hasn't been on the loser side that early in a tournament in a very long time. So walk us through it, Pat.
Yeah, no, I was actually very happy with my tournament. I
Good.
was very happy with the way that I played, how engaged I was able to stay. It definitely helped that like I just played my 3 matches like back to back to back because I had to, me and Tim had to wait a little bit for our match to start because everybody else played first. So I think just kind of being able to get into a groove definitely helped with uh at least playing well against Mike. But starting off with Tim, that first set, I think the first 3 to 4 racks that I won were all off of 10 ball combos. Like he
Hmm.
kept leaving me 10 ball combos somehow, some way, and then giving me ball in hand with it. So it wasn't like it would just roll down there and there it is. It was like he would make a mistake and scratch, and then there's the combo, and I'm getting out early. Um, and then the second set comes around, and I want to say I only got one more 10 ball combo, but it was like I had to shoot a shot. Like the 2 and the 10 were almost like perfectly lined up to where like I had to really cut them, like split them from like all the way up the table. But with Tim, it's like you said, he plays so weird. And I don't know how else to describe it other than he just plays weird. Like it's one of those things, either you have to see him for yourself or play against him to know what I'm talking about. But he makes messes of the table kind of on purpose by accident. He misses
Yeah.
weird. He plays weird defenses. It works for him. You know what I mean? But it's just like it's a very uncomfortable thing. But
It
You
second
is.
think it
set
throws
helped,
you
and
off? Or you think it throws the opponent off when they see something like that, if they're a good player?
I think it threw me off the first time that I played him. He beat me. I think he beat me 2-0. And we might have went 2-1. I can't remember, but it definitely threw me off because I'm like, I don't understand why he's choosing what he's choosing, and it kind of got my head a little bit. But this time I kind of expected, like, okay, you're gonna see some weird patterns. He's gonna make some kind of kick or bank or something that you wouldn't expect him to do. So I think it was more so having that mindset. I knew I could just focus on my own game. Like just focus
I
on
think
making my
it.
shots, figuring out my patterns, and getting around.
I think it definitely throws off his opponents for sure because you're just not used to seeing like people go for some of the shots that he goes for. Like, I don't want to say that they're bad shots, but like, pretty much every player at our level, you kind of know what they're gonna do. Like, there might be like one or two options that they have, but you kind of are like, okay, they're either gonna do this or this. Like he will come up with like a third option where you're like, oh, I didn't think about that. So when you play him, you kind of have to be like, if you're playing safe, like you kind of have to think about, okay, maybe he might go for this, or like if you're like, going for a shot, you're like, okay, if I miss this, where the ball's going to end up because he might go for this, which I wouldn't think about. So I definitely think it's probably in his opponent's head. I feel like.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely, yeah. Because it was weird. I'm just glad I beat that guy. And then Joe was one of those things. That match, I never really had a shot. I never had a chance. That kid came out. If he wasn't making a ball, he was playing perfect defense. I was talking like putting me in jail, getting ball in hand, and when he got ball in hand, he was getting out. I maybe had 2 or 3 clean shots that entire match playing against Joe because of how well he was playing.
Wow.
So I just ran into somebody who was just destined to be on the podium that day. And I told her, I was like, man, shouts out to you, bro. You just played a great match. Really nothing that anybody could have done on that one except, top shelf. And then going into the match against Mike Davis, just like Josh was saying, I played well against him that first time in Brass Step. So that kind of like takes that mental thing out. As far as thinking like, oh, I gotta play Mike, or I gotta play Renal, I gotta play Josh, I gotta play BJ. Um, but for me, I've always looked at it kind of like how you described, Josh. If it's somebody that's like 700 Fargo, somebody that I'm not supposed to beat on paper, I love those matches because I'm going to try everything I can to shoot at them and have an upset. I never want to be anybody's, buy round. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm trying to bring it to you no matter who you are. So, but also shout out to Mike because he gave me a couple of really good tips from the first time that we played that's really helped my game out. And then I think now it's just kind of showing up here. But playing against Mike, like I said, yeah, it was right there. I needed that first set against him when we went hill in order to really have a chance to beat him because once we got into that third set, he really tightened down and put me away. But that second set, even in the first one, but definitely in the second set, I was getting out. Like I just felt really comfortable. I had confidence. I thought I was going to win. But Mike was Mike in that third set, and he played some good defenses, and then he started to really get out. He was making some mistakes as well in those first couple of sets that I was able to take advantage of. But in that third set, it wasn't too many mistakes, and he put me away. So I'm happy with it, man. I had a great time. I see nothing but positives from that tournament, and I can't wait for the next one, man.
Yeah, I think it was a lot of fun for all three of us. I think we all three played pretty well. It's pretty awesome. Josh, is there anything that we haven't talked about from this tournament that you think needs to be hit on?
I'm like a numbers guy. I like to look at like the performance ratings and stuff like that. So I always kind of like mention that, even though it's not a ton of games that go into the rating, but a couple of things that catch my attention. I mean, BJ looks like a shot an 8. His effective rating for the tournament was an 816, so that was really strong.
Yeah.
In second place, I had the second highest. I shot a 741.
Nice.
What really caught my eye here was Joe Hyatt. His Fargo's a 557, and he shot 135 points above his rating. He shot a 692. So he was playing really, really good. And then surprise Josh Heater, he actually was able to finish second place, only shooting a 658, being a 699 himself.
Yeah, that's below. It seemed like, I mean, that's probably based off of his losses, though, to BJ, maybe.
Right, of course. And to the quality of player that he lost to as well. Although some of the sets that he lost against.
Going to a third set against Joe Jr. and Brian Davis probably brought him down a little bit as well. But that is interesting. I need to start looking at those numbers a little closer as well. Pat, is there anything that you think we need to hit on that we haven't?
I'm kind of mesmerized because I didn't know that this was a thing on Digital Pool. Now I'm like looking at everybody's looking at everybody's performance rating. No, man, I think every time we have a tournament at the Smoking Cube, man, it's always something that happens that's like great.
Yeah.
That makes it memorable. It's always a good time at the Q. I just can't wait for December at this point. I just can't wait. I can't wait to see how the rest of the year shapes out, especially for the top 10 of the points, to figure out who really solidifies their standings in the top 10. But then the rest of the field, man, what is it going to look like? Who all is going to be there? It's going to be a heavy hit in 2 days come December. And I'm really wanting to figure out who's going to come in on the back half of the year to kind of have a Mike Davis-esque run as well.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that as well. That's going to be a lot of fun. You do bring up a good point, though. What is the most memorable thing from this tournament that we just had? All right. That answers that question.
Had to be there.
No comment is what we're going to say. Yes, sometimes it's good to be there in person. Show up next time. Watch the action in person. Our next tournament, July 12th, fast action. We're back to 9-ball. Will we see you there, Josh? Will you make your first visit to fast action?
This is July
12th.
Yeah, probably no. I think that's this weekend where there's a big 10-ball tournament here.
There is, yes.
Yeah, so I'm already signed up for that. So yeah,
nice. Good
probably
luck.
not.
Good luck.
I'll be here. Thank you. Yeah, July. I think I only got that 10-ball tournament that I'm telling you about, and then the North Carolina State Championship, and then I'm taking a few weeks off, and I'll be playing on August 16th when you guys come over here.
Perfect. I like it.
You coming back? Is
yeah.
this too far ahead for
August
you?
16th.
Pat, you gonna be in?
I think so.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, I feel like Pat should be at the rest of our tournaments. At least he said that at the beginning of the year.
Look, man, I say we'll put them on the calendar and then we'll see what happens. Okay, there's a lot happening.
No, it's gonna be fun. I'm looking forward to all of our upcoming tournaments. Yeah, Ultimate Pool. If you want to play League, that might be your best option in the Charlotte metro area. So there is that. They did just have a big tournament, by the way, over the weekend. I could not tell you who won. I have no idea. But guys, this was a fun tournament, man. I like 10-ball at Smoking Q. It's always fun. Josh, any last words before we sign off?
I think we've touched up on all.
Perfect. Pat, last words?
Watch your back, Mike Davis.
You're coming for him. You're coming for him.
I'm on the way.
Yeah, exactly. And I'll just say, y'all hit the like, subscribe button, follow, all that stuff. YouTube, the pool series, Facebook, the pool series, TPS reports. Do all that. Follow us, like us, come out and play, watch, all that. And we'll check you later.